right, we are now in After Effects. Have everything set up. We have a comp open. Now we're going to start to bring in content to work with. One thing I want to start with, I'm not super pleased that my composition background is black. So in my composition settings, if I just double click here, or right click, sorry, if I right click, I have composition settings. You guys will notice this is the window from when we created the comp. You can recall that up if you need to change anything. And I'm going to change my background color to white for right now. All right, so in my comp, I need to start importing content. So I'm going to go to File, Import, Import File. And here I have lots of different things that I'm going to use, some letters, but there's a particular letter I'm looking for. It's not in this folder, so I'm going to navigate to it. Again, a PNG is going to be transparent. I'm going to bring this guy in. All right, so a couple of things to chat about here. You guys will notice this came into my project panel. I can bring in this image. It will be here. If I want to bring it into my comp, I can, but these are separate things. So for example, I may have an image in my comp, but I still have the image in my project panel, so I could bring that into other comps if I wanted to. All right, so these are in the same projects, but I can also work with them separately. So we're going to get started. I just want to show you, introduce you to the timeline. I'm going to drag. So before you animate anything, you have to make sure that you make it part of your composition. So comp 1 is open. I'm going to drag my letter down here. And one thing to notice, this is my timeline. This is my work area down here. You notice that came in kind of huge. We're going to resize that. I can add layers. Okay, so if I want to add layers to this, you have some options in this flyout menu here for your comp. A couple of different options. I can add layers. If I go to in my layer panel, if I go to new, it's going to ask me what kind of layer. So if I wanted to bring in a solid color to put behind this, I could say new solid. Okay. If I wanted it to be whatever color, I'll go super bright pink. Why not? Okay. We say okay. And there's my solid. So maybe I want a color background to appear and disappear at certain times during this animation. I would want that as an individual layer instead of being my background color. So as you see, layers, so again, just like in Photoshop, we have layers. You also have layers in After Effects, and the layers are within your timeline down here. I'm going to drag this to the bottom there. Click, drag. So again, order of operations, you guys will notice this is a PNG, so wherever those textures are, they're transparent in here, so they're picking up the pink as well, okay? I want to make sure, it's very important to make sure that you have selected whatever you want to work with, okay? I'm going to select my letter there, so you guys will notice that's now highlighted. I'm going to lock, because you can lock things. I'm going to lock my background layer, because I don't want to accidentally click that while I'm working. That would be very frustrating. Here's where all the bells and whistles are going to be. You can do so much with just this one area. In my layer there, you guys will notice there's a drop down. If I click that little guy, this is my transform area in my timeline, okay? If I take that down, I see all of these options. So After Effects works in what is called a keyframe. So you guys remember I set it for 5, and there I go, got my frames here. And it's very important, if I want to zoom in on this, here, if I click this, I can actually enlarge things in my timeline, which will make a difference once we start animating things, all right? So this area, you guys will notice this little blue bar here. This is my letter because I have it selected. you guys notice it runs the full time. So if I wanted my letter to actually stop at any point, I could drag that. So I'm going to show you guys here in my playhead. This is your playhead. If I drag it past that, it disappears. Okay, so that lets you select how long that's on the screen. If you want something to be on the screen the whole time, you've got to make sure that the bar is extending for the full period of your timeline. So here we are, you guys, in our transform menu. You see we have a ton of options. So I'm going to stop there and pick this up in the next video. So just to review what we did file import and we brought our letter into our project panel, and then we created a new layer that was going to wind up here in our timeline area. So we did layer, new layer, and that was our pink guy there, and we locked it down. And you can expand or unexpand this area here. That is where all the secret juices are going to be. Okay, we'll come back to that in the next video.